Hello there. Last night I attended a local Meet the Candidates event here in the Northcote electorate, and it was fucking awful. Now, to be fair, the organisers did their best to try and keep things in check. There was a number of reminders that people in the audience were there to listen and to respect the people who were up there speaking so they could form their own opinions. And like all audiences for these events, they were loaded with supporters of every party. Being in a room full of Vision supporters is not fun to begin with. It gives this sort of weird, anxious to everything. But I don't know that they were the worst. The National/ACT supporters, they were downright nasty at this event. It started off with Matua Calvin getting up and introducing himself, and within a minute he had to shut down a heckler complaining about a treaty and getting Maori everything for nothing. So awful. And Calvin actually shut him down really easily with a question like, how many articles are in the treaty, which he couldn't answer. There was a number of disinformation moments that came from the right-wing candidates, and I honestly couldn't find anything incorrect that Labour's Shannon Halbert or Labour's Calvin Davis said in terms of the stats that they put forward or the information that they put out there. And I was really glad of the fact that there weren't questions open from the floor, because that could have been really dangerous. But the thing that really threw me, other than the misinformation around things like one person, one vote from the National Party candidate who then refused to elaborate on that, or Michelle Warren from New Zealand First getting up and saying, nope, we're talking about co-governance and hipurpur is bad, it's all about government control and mandates are wrong. All the weird claims from Vision NZ around how lockdowns have led to an increased crime rate because people feel disconnected, and divorce is actually one of the reasons for an increased crime rate, and the war in the 40s was somehow related to an increased crime rate. There was a whole bunch of really weird crap, like New Zealand First not wanting to do anything about climate change because we're such a small country and they might accidentally make the place better, or National claiming that you're going to get $75 a week for childcare costs, not mentioning the fact that they're removing ECE subsidies from the budget, which would mean that you have to pay more anyway. But the worst part of it by a long shot was the last question that came through was around cancel culture, which is already a dog whistle term to a number of these candidates. And when the candidates get up and start talking about wokeism and gender ideologies in schools and all of those other dog whistle things that have been elements of rage farming, it got the crowd worked up, particularly the National and ACT supporters that were there. They were stomping their feet, they were hollering, they were screaming about it. And in the audience was a transgender person who took this personally, completely understandably. They got up and started yelling back. The yelling and screaming that came from the right was disgusting, and this trans person ended up leaving in tears because of what was happening. They had to be escorted out with security to make sure that they were kept safe. It was disgusting, and as they left, they pointed out to the National Party that the life-saving meds that they are on is something that they would be charged for under their policies. The fact that grown fucking adults were acting like toddlers, that one person was literally up dancing as this trans person left, that's fucking disgusting. Like, there's no other way to describe it. These people aren't giving a shit about anybody else. And they're the ones who are going to go out to vote. They're the ones who are motivated to change things. And if we let them do it, it's going to be an absolute fucking shit show for everyone in the country who is not one of them. Anyone who they consider an other. The video of this event is going to be live at some point on their Facebook page for the local business association, residents association. I'll link it when I find it and you can hear it for yourself. But until then, please make sure you're registered to vote. Get out there, have your say, and don't let fucking assholes like this be the ones that make decisions for our country going forward.